Okay, good morning. Everyone's in their places now. So today we'll be focusing a little bit more on the legs than we have in the past several sessions. So we've been working a lot with neck mobility, and I've been emphasizing a lot how important that is. And then also shoulder mobility and thoracic mobility, which we'll do a little bit of. But now we'll be talking a little bit more about standing postures and leg activation. And we'll always have the support of the chair throughout. So we'll start by just kind of grounding our feet and actively looking down and seeing that your legs are as straight as they could be, side to side. So they're parallel to one another. And then lift up your toes if you and if you can see them lifting, and then broaden across your foot. So see if you can feel as much surface area on the floor as possible. And then see if you can lower just your big toe. So all the other toes stay lifted and just the big toe grounds. So this has an effect of helping strengthen your arch. Lots of problems all the way up the chain, knee pain, hip pain, low back pain, have a lot to do with fallen arches. So if throughout the practice today we can stabilize the arch and build strength in the arch, which is possible. So if you've been wearing insoles or adding support, that's good in day-to-day life. But while we're here practicing, we want to see if we can strengthen the arch instead of adding support, where over time it actually is getting weaker. So try it again, toes lift, big toe grounds. So there's a tendency to have the hands try to help you with this. So see if you can just keep your hands relaxed on your thighs and feel that activation of your foot. And then spread the other toes and broaden across the foot to feel what I'll call the four corners ground into the foot. So that's the ball of the foot, the outside edge of the foot, inside edge of the foot, outside edge of the heel of the foot are all actively pressing down. And then take a look at your shins and scoot your feet out or scoot your feet in so that your shins are as perpendicular to the floor as possible. And then your thighs, you'd like to see that your hips are a little bit above your thighs, or hips are a little bit above your knees. So if they're not, you could add a little bit additional support under your chair so that there's this gentle downward slope to your thigh bone. And then that is ideal for being able to align our pelvis, which is where we're headed next. Bringing your hands to your hips, we'll take a few pelvic tilts. So tilt your pelvis forward and tilt your pelvis back through the full range of motion. And just notice if you begin to feel any pain or tinging feelings in the low back, just make the movement slightly smaller. So feet stay grounded, pelvis tilts back and forth, and then start to make that action smaller and smaller, and we'll start to feel really grounded on the sits bones, right in the center. And then bring your hands to your low abdomen and see if, rather than feeling like this area is disengaged, see if you can create an action like you're lifting the front hip bones so that the low belly is engaged and supporting your rib cage. Good, and then remembering all of the activations we've done so far, take a big inhale in the nose and out of the mouth, and see if you can feel the ribs engage when your upper abdomen engages and that they're stacked right on top of your hip bones. And then broaden across the shoulders and bring your hands down next to your sides and broaden into your hands. So there's an active engagement, like you're trying to energize through the hands. Good, and then notice your shoulders and bring the shoulders a little forward and a little back. And see if you can start to find it right in the center of your shoulder socket. Good. And then remembering the head position that we've gone over thus far. If you're new, this position is slightly strange at first, but it's a movement of the chin towards the center of the throat and an extension up through the back of the crown. So this is the position that will start to relieve some of the strain in the upper back by organizing your head on top of your shoulders. So it's like there's a lifting up from the back of the crown, and your cervical spine is now organized on top of your thoracic spine. Okay. So this is our foundational alignment, and now we'll see if we can take that alignment into standing and feel the organization of the legs and the knees in your standing posture. So if you can, stand up. If you don't feel like standing up, just stay seated, and we'll have a variation for everything we're doing in seated. Good. And so looking down at your feet and seeing the same activation we just did. Big toes ground, and you're broadening across the foot. And bring your hands back to your glute muscles and see if you can intentionally engage your glute muscles. So there's a pandemic happening, but there's also another epidemic, and that is that the glute muscles are shutting off completely from long seated hours, and that can be the cause of a lot of low back pain. So engaging down with the feet, ensure that both of your glute muscles are engaged. And then again, check in with the low belly that the front hip bones are lifted. Really good. And we'll hold all that in place and just gently begin to sway the spine side to side. So feet stay grounded, weight stays even between the feet, and you're just swaying side to side to feel that stable foundation and getting a feel for holding that stability there as you're moving the upper body. So feet are grounded, spine is tilting side to side, but weight is now staying even between your feet. Good. And the more you ground actively down with your feet, the more you'll find there's not this additional swaying in the low body as your upper body sways. Good. And now we'll do the same thing forward and back. So keep the feet grounded, hinge at the hip, hips come, torso comes forward and back. Good, and now we'll find right at center. So making that movement smaller and smaller until it feels like your spine is stacked right on top of your legs. Good. And bring a hand to your low abdomen and a hand to your chest here. And see if you can feel breath move first in your low hand and then move into your upper hand. So we'll just take 4 or 5 big deep breaths here. Low hand is moving with breath, and then upper hand. This effort to bring the breath in and down low is what helps all these movements become helpful for stress, relieving stress. And the reason why the belly is moving is the movement of the diaphragm down. So how much movement of breath can you feel through the whole torso? Let's see if I can get my feet in there. Good. And now bring your palms to the side and broaden through your palms. And really make an emphasis to ground to the outside edge of your foot. So there's a tendency, again, for the arches to be fallen and the weight of the body to be kind of dropping through the center line. See if you can really engage to the outer edge of your foot, and that will bring your knee, hip, and ankle in alignment. And then keep a hand on the low belly and a hand on the chest, and now we'll take a flowing motion with the spine. So the hips hinge and the spine moves forward on an exhale, and on an inhale, the spine comes back up to upright position. The key is that all of the movement is happening at the hips here. Your knees can bend slightly and then coming back up. Not all of the movement happening with the head and the shoulders. So this is not what we want. We want the whole back body engaged and the spine moving as a single unit. So hip hinges, feet are grounded. You can even keep your eyes on them. And inhale, coming back up. So breath still fills into the lower hand and then into the upper hand as you come down. And exhale happens pressing through the feet as you come up. Glutes stay on. You can check in with that by actually feeling, but see if you can keep your glutes engaged, extending the hips forward as you come into standing. Good. So this will be like a moving meditation. Inhale down and exhale up. And each time you're refining your alignment. So if you notice that you're trying to go further down and you lose the head and shoulder activation, just pause a little sooner and don't go quite as far down. Seeing if you can feel for the edge of the range of motion that keeps the spine aligned and all the action happening at the hip. Good, glutes engaged at the top, but are engaged slightly to support the hip socket the whole way down and up. So this is a great way to strengthen the legs and the whole back body to support holding the spine in alignment. Keep grounding through the foot, especially the outside edge. Good, next time that you come down, feel for where that edge is. Front hip bones stay lifted so the spine stays organized, head stays ramped. So it's the cervical spine's in alignment and we'll hold here. If it feels like you want to come out, see if you can just come out a little bit. Rather than coming out all the way, keep grounding through the feet, aligning the spine, breathing smooth and steady. Good, and the next time that you take a big inhale and fill, exhale, press through the legs and press up to standing. Good. Release the arms to your side, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Good. Okay, we'll take a few minutes for resting here and standing. Feeling the lower hand for the low belly fills and then the upper chest. Keep standing and breathing. I'm going to see if I can improve our lighting. Okay, you're going to see me move spots, but I think it will help. There we go. Okay. So stand with your chair exactly behind you and bring a hand to the low belly and to the chest. And we'll start to take an action back. So you've got your chair there if it feels like you might lose your balance, but we'll just go as far down, bending with the knees as you can. And on the inhale, come up. So exhale, coming down, knees bend, just like we did the last time. The hinge happens at the hip, and you're coming back and down as far as it feels like is comfortably possible with your knees. And a really important part is to engage through the feet actively down. That's going to add to the support in the knees and the hips. Good, and inhale, come up. Exhale, moving back and down. Spine stays in alignment. Same principles apply as we just did in that last standing posture. Your head and your shoulders don't release down. You let those activations decide how far you can go down. And then when you reach that edge coming up, glutes are on the whole time. Good, so this is a really simple movement that you can do to strengthen the muscles that support the knees. And again, keeping the glutes on and the feet engaged down is going to really help support your knees from above and below. Good, and next time you come down, we'll hold here. Big inhale and exhale, keep grounding through the foot, especially the outer edge of the foot. Something that's really common is that we, again, drop through the arches and let the knees come towards each other. Keep grounding to the outside edge of the foot to hold. Good, and on an inhale, press up. Good job, hard work. Staying and standing if you can, or if you'd like to take a seat, we'll just rotate through the upper spine. So your feet are a little wider and there's some gentle movements. Side to side to release the thoracic spine, and then start to have your head look the opposite direction. So you're trying to look over your shoulder as your thoracic spine is releasing. Good, and last times, we'll take a movement towards our chair now, a few movements in the chair to rest the legs. So coming into seated in your chair, remembering all the alignment that we've just visited still applies. We'll keep a hand on the low ribs, upper abdomen. So your left hand's on the low ribs, upper abdomen. Your right arm is reaching down and you're broadening through the palm. We're going to work the range of motion of our shoulder in a way that honors the alignment of the spine. So on an inhale, hand comes up to whatever the end of your range of motion is, and on the exhale, hand comes down. Good. Inhale, hand comes up. Each time you're trying to find the new edge of the range of motion. You know you've gone too far if you feel movement happening under this opposite hand and you're arching through the back to compensate for the shoulder. So inhale, arm comes up, exhale down. Then this next time, arm comes up, and on the exhale down, and it moves through the back range of motion. So you're reaching back as far as you can. And on the inhale, coming up. And on the exhale, back. Inhale up, exhale back. So working both your complete shoulder flexion and shoulder extension. Good. Next time you come up, we'll hold. So finding the edge of range of motion there, really strengthening through the shoulder. And on the exhale, come back, and we'll hold an extension. Good. And then rotate your hand back and come up and around and through. So now we'll go through the full range of motion of the shoulder. You're coming back, rotating the hand up, around, and through. Good. Staying just inside of any cracks or pops. And so if you feel lots of popping or cracking or painful movements, just make your range of motion smaller. Good, last time around. And then hand rests on the shoulder or on the thigh, feeling the difference side to side. Hold that really good spinal alignment and take a few deep breaths. Just notice the difference in sensation left to right, and maybe a greater sense of freedom and mobility in the shoulder that we've moved. Good, and then bringing your right hand to the upper abdomen. Inhale, arm comes up. Exhale down. So now this time we're coming through the front range of motion again. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Good, next time you bring your arm up and exhale down, move through the back range of motion. So shoulder extension and shoulder flexion. None of the movement happens in the rib cage, all in the shoulder. Good, next time you come back into shoulder extension, rotate the palm, coming up, around and through. So back, rotation, up, around and through. And seeing if you can keep little to no movement in the rib cage. And it's this kind of focused mobility work that will help increase slowly your range of motion. So if you're having pain in the shoulder, pain in the mid, upper back, these simple movements help. Good. And next time you come down and through, palms broaden, inhale the arm up overhead, find the edge of your range of motion and hold. Breath is still filling from low to high. Good, and then deep inhale, exhale, coming back, holding an extension. Good, and then releasing the arm, bringing both hands to your thighs, shaking out the shoulders. And we'll do another little twist so you can hold your elbows bent here in the chair and rotate the upper spine side to side. Good, bringing the hands to the thighs, we'll refine our head ramp. We're building all these movements one on top of another for a final peak pose in class today. So on an inhale, looking up, and on an exhale, looking down. Inhale, looking up as far as you can. No movement happens in the head, in the rib cage, just the head. Really stretching the chin up and forward and really releasing the back of the neck as the head comes down. Good. Next time your head looks down, we'll lift the head up, ramping the head, bringing that movement of the chin towards the center of the throat and extension up through the back of the crown. And holding there, take a few big breaths into the belly, and then the breath moves into the chest. Doing that 3 or 4 times. Just kind of setting in this head position. It's crucially important. Good. And now we'll turn the head side to side. So keeping the head on the center, looking over your left shoulder as far as you can and back to center, and then over your right center, or right shoulder and back to center. Good. Notice if you start to try to push into your arms or tighten up the shoulder in an effort to turn the head more, and back off, just moving through the edge of range of motion that's possible from just movement of the head and neck. And next time you look over the right shoulder and back to center, hold there. Holding up the spine in this alignment, bringing attention to feet again, noticing the alignment that your feet and legs have taken. And on an inhale, we'll lean forward and press through the feet as if you were going to stand up, trying to keep those arches engaged and the spine aligned. And then on an exhale, release that effort, weight comes back over the sit bones. Spine stays aligned. You're not pressing into the hands, you're just engaging the feet and trying to feel the legs engaged as deeply as possible to press as if you were going to stand up. Good, so this is helpful for ensuring that you're keeping the alignment of the legs as you're standing. And if you take all of these principles into your daily life, for every time that you're sitting and standing, you'll start to build a lot of strength just in your day-to-day activities. So spine comes forward. Remember, the head and shoulders don't lead the way. Keep those in alignment. Press through the feet, engage and lift, and come back. And back. Last time, but we'll hold here. So coming forward, spine's in alignment, pressing through the feet. Find a consistent effort through the feet and legs. See if you can feel all the muscles around the knees that support the knees. Turning on and engaging. Hold, really press to the outer edge of your foot. Bring both hands to the outsides of your knees and really actively push your knees into your hands and your hands into your knees for an isometric action that's really going to engage the outer hip. So pressing and pressing down. So much action happening here. Also thinking of lifting in and up at your pelvic floor. If you're not sure what that means, that's a whole class in itself. Good, and then release all those efforts, come back to seated, take a few resting breaths. We'll do that one more time. So on an inhale, coming forward, pressing through the legs, engaging the feet, holding the spine in alignment, bringing both hands to the outsides of your knees. Press your knees into your hands and your hands into your knees. We're doing this action here so that you can feel that activation happen as we move back into our standing chair pose, so that you're getting all the support of the outer hips for the knees. So if you have some sort of an injury, although doing your physical therapy exercises is great, oftentimes it's because of a movement pattern that's happening in your day-to-day life. So if we can figure out a way to align your spine and align your legs so that your joints are receiving the least wear and tear, that's going to help so much. So if it feels like you're over-efforting, where can you release some of that over-efforting and just make this a steady, stable engagement? Good, one that you could sustain and hold. Good, and then hands come back onto the tops of the thighs. Release that effort, bend the elbows. We'll sort of just release the thoracic spine, twisting side to side. And then looking over the opposite shoulder as you twist your shoulders. Good. Okay, pressing through the feet as much as you can. Hold that alignment and come up to standing using all of those points of alignment that we've been working on. So now we'll carry all this into that initial movement that we did. So we'll revisit that again. A chair pose, so spine stays in alignment. Hips go back first. Hinge happens at the hip. Not as important how far you go down, more important how aligned your spine stays. Glutes engaged at the top of the movement. Coming back, spine aligned and pressing up. If you have a mirror or a way to check at home what's happening through the upper body, we don't want to see this position where the head is trying to lead the way. All of the back body is engaged to hold that in position, hinging at the hips, moving back and coming up. Good. Next time you come up, release your right hand, keep your left hand on your low belly, and now we'll move the right arm up as the hips go back, finding the edge of range of motion in the shoulder, just as we did in the chair, and inhale coming up. Exhale coming into chair. Inhale coming up, release that arm back into extension. So inhale, chair, one arm overhead. Exhale, moving through the back range of motion of the arm and the shoulder. Inhale, and exhale. So we've been building all this from the ground up, step by step. Everything we've visited before now comes with us. Finding the edge of the pain-free range of motion in the shoulder. Good. Next time you come up, hold. Remember, grounding to the outer edge of the feet. So not letting the knees drop in, but ground to the outer edge. Broaden the palm. See if you can breathe into that lower hand. And exhale, come to standing. Good. Spread your legs a little wider. Twist the shoulders side to side. Good job. Right, and then stepping back into position. Now right hand comes to the low belly. So this is like a form checker. And inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, come to standing. Glutes engage, arms comes into extension. Inhale. And exhale. So once you have all the little points of alignment worked in, we're adding them all together. This can be a single flow that you do several times during the day as a way to strengthen the knees, mobilize the shoulders, and align the spine. Last time, arm comes up and hold. Keep grounding to the outside edge of the foot, not letting the feet drop in. Head stays in that ramping position, watching out for this releasing of the upper back. So if you need to come out a little bit, do that rather than sacrificing the spinal alignment. Good, and on an exhale, come out. Spread the legs, twist side to side. Okay, we'll be moving into our last pose now. So we're putting all of that together, aligning the feet, organizing the legs and knees, lifting the front hip bones, glutes on. On an inhale, coming into the pose with both arms up overhead. And on an exhale, extending the arms, but not letting the chest release forward. Inhale. And exhale, doing your best to feel that the weight is evenly distributed through both legs. Inhaling into the edge of range of motion in the shoulder and the knees, spine stays aligned. Inhale and exhale. Last time, coming into the chair position, really engaging through the hands and the feet, feeling everything in between in alignment. If you feel like there's too much strain, can you come softly out without quitting? One more deep breath, and on an exhale, coming out, spreading the legs side to side, rotating through the spine. Good job. That's lots of hard work, but good work. And we'll position your chair. We'll come for a few deep breaths of mindfulness. So setting down, keeping all the things we've talked about so far in mind. So even if you're using your hands on your knees, keeping your spine in alignment and your knees in alignment as you place yourself down. And we'll take a few resting breaths to return your breath rate and heart rate back down. Seeing if you can feel the belly fill with breath and then the chest. See if you can keep your eyes fixed on a single point of focus. Mouth contained and spine aligned. Okay, if you'd like to stay in this relaxed seated pose, attending your breath, this is a great meditative practice that you can do regularly throughout your day to begin to train your attention. That will end our guided practice today.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome.
It was a quiet group today.
Yes, it was. What we did was a little hard. It was good though. It was good for knees and hips and feet.
Good.
Good. Are these making it onto the YouTube channel, for the Arrow YouTube channel?
What's that?
Are these videos making it onto the YouTube channel? Kayla and I had talked about that you guys could record them and put them on there.
So I am not part of like that process of putting it on YouTube, but what I do is I record them and I add them to our Dropbox so that we can access them later. So I'm not sure where the process is of putting them on YouTube is currently.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to state that for anyone who, is into it and wants to do them again, that they should be there.
Yeah, I will check into that and see, but I know that I have been recording the different sessions. So,
Great.
If it's just a matter of uploading, I'll reach out and see what I need to do.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.